Hi everyone, it's Tarnished Treasures, and I have a shop along with me. So I went to this consignment shop. I saw this piece. I thought it was ingenious how they glued the shells to the bottom to make it stand up, and they only wanted $7 for it. I'm always drawn to these French chairs. I thought that was a pretty good price. So the prices here, some things were great deals, some things were higher than a thrift store, but I still thought for the quality of what was at this store, how clean it was, the excellent condition the pieces were in, that everything was marked pretty fair. And I do think you can negotiate. It is 5 vendors. So I don't know if it's a co-op or something like that. But while I was there, there was a woman who had inquired about a painting and they called the vendor and he went down a little bit. So that's nice to know. Little jewelry box. Looks a little bit like a salesman's sample. There was such a nice variety at this store and so much to see. Fabulous art. I loved that hunting scene and I thought it was really neat how they painted the red and the green. This stool was pretty with the colors they selected, and it was only $20. A neat basket on top. And I went to the store to pick up a piece of furniture that I found on Facebook Marketplace, and it worked out, so I was very excited. After I got it in my car, I decided to browse, and I thought, why not pull the camera out? This was really neat if you like Easter decor or like a vintage Victorian feeling. This little doll cart, baby carriage that had this rabbit head on the top. I don't know if it's vintage or just made to look that way, but it was pretty convincing and I thought really charming. I thought the display was pretty on here, how she had the green on one shelf, more pinks and florals on the others. Definitely getting into that St. Patrick's Day and Easter feeling. As I looked at all of these treasures, I just imagined the people shopping on Saturday mornings at the estate sales and bringing the things here. That hand-painted flower vase was really pretty, and I loved this mug. It was $20, but it was in excellent condition. It had the unicorn, it had the lion, and on the back, God Save the Queen. This had broken off of a larger figurine, but I thought he was so cute with that little hat looking like it was a folded piece of newspaper into a boat. So as I saw these pieces, I could just imagine them in all different decorating styles, different vignettes, conversation pieces. They had some modern pieces, older pieces, lots of great wood pieces. That was the one thing that I didn't notice was any painted furniture. It was all the natural finish and stain. This piece was so cool, a salesman's sample for a gate leg table. It'd be perfect size for like an American Girl doll, but just something neat to put on top of another table and then display some treasures on top. Little cut glass, shot glass. They had some of the decanter labels. Those were porcelain. I have a few similar that I picked up just thrifting for $1 or $2. This case had pretty jewelry. Nice little vanity collection, the perfume bottles, the powder jar. So this back section was filled to the brim, and this is where I found the 3 pieces that I purchased. This was a large porcelain platter that was hand painted. It was beautiful. And most everything I looked at wasn't chipped or cracked, and I definitely felt like things were older, so just such a nice store to shop in. I also thought, I don't normally videotape, but if I filmed that, since it was so packed, I could come back and look and see if there was anything that I missed, and I could head there next weekend. This gorgeous chandelier had a sold sign on it. And you can see how tall this building was. So you really had to look up so you didn't miss lighting fixtures, artwork that was framed. I always love to pick things up, look at the bottom, see if they're marked or labeled, learn brands. Sometimes you can even see a patent date on them. I liked this tray. I had seen something like this at a yard sale, and a man got to it right before I did. And I've been keeping my eye out for them, but that one had the glass was cracked on the back and was held together with tape, so I passed it up. I believe that this is a sewing box. This really caught my eye. Like a pin cushion on the top. Had this beautiful wood, little brass hinges and the lock hole. And in the inside you can see maybe silk, and then where pins had been. She wanted $50 for that. There were a lot of linens, and I found that awesome piece. Some cast iron gates, I believe. I don't know if that was a headboard or not. I think it was a gate. And I was really drawn to the glass trinket dish, only $5. Had this nice soft pink feeling to it. Whole dining room table filled with treasures. She had books and cocktail napkins here, so I looked through all of those. I love to find ones that have monograms. Vintage handbags. This really was the section that I loved the most, this back part. And it was nice because nothing was locked, so I could open the cabinets. Now to share what I found. After I went to that first store, I stopped at a church thrift store, we'll say. I found this nice olive green jacket by Cabby. I thought it fit very well, and it was $8. It's got this nice little, almost like a military style with these little hooks. So I'll wash that up, but it looks like it's never been worn. Then at the store, I got this little whiskey label. And I don't come across these too often. I have about 3, so now I have 4. And that is hand painted on the back, made in France. It has some makeshift chain. So I will probably see if one of my little chain fobs would work on this. And so maybe whiskey will look nice there. That store had such nice things, but I was really drawn to the woman's area in the back that was just loaded. It was like an estate sale, just a treasure trove to dig through. And the 3 things that I purchased all happened to be from her area. There was a whole rack of linens, and I was drawn to this piece. I'm really just drawn to white linens, and I liked the polka dots, and it had this nice scalloped border. Thought to myself, take it down. Let's just see if it has a monogram, because that can easily convince me to get it. And lo and behold, it had a monogram. Putting a white bedspread or sheet or coverlet on a bed is, I think, one of the easiest ways to change your decor over from winter to spring or summer, because it just lightens and brightens everything. So this is my thought, is to put it on this bed, or we might actually, I think it's more for a twin size, but it works just fine on the full. But I'm thinking about getting my daughter a day bed, and maybe it would work on there. But here is the amazing monogram. Either a V or an L. I'm going to guess an L. And then a T in the center and an M. And it is just so beautiful and amazing and in excellent condition. So we're going to wash that up and then display it proudly. This is the piece of furniture that I went to that store to pick up. And the tag said it was 19th century. I can definitely tell things are handmade and kind of eyeballed because they're not perfectly symmetrical. It's got these beautiful tiles. The man called them Delft. I don't know if Delft does transfer, but they're definitely just transfer. And I thought I would take this little backsplash off and just keep it as a simple workspace. But my husband said he liked it, and then my daughter said she loved it. So they won. And there is brown in the curtains, so they complement each other nicely. It's got one drawer, just like the other piece had. And as I was searching, I did not find any that had a board across the bottom. And I knew that's what I needed to put baskets for hidden storage, get things up off the ground, so it was just easier to sweep under. So this thing fit the bill. I just needed to know if the dimensions were going to work. It's got a little dovetail because we need to be able to walk around this easily to get to the door and other places. So here's the story time. This was listed on Facebook Marketplace with no dimensions. Pretty much like every piece of furniture that I look at, there's no dimensions. So I messaged the man, asked him for the dimensions. And in the meanwhile, I was browsing his other listings to see what else he had for sale. And I saw a duplicate listing for this listed cheaper, but it said it was sold. So I thought, oh no, is it available? Is it not? So I think it turns out that, obviously, since I have it now in my possession, that he wanted more money for it. So instead of just deleting the listing or editing it, he marked it sold. So the man got back to me and said, it's about 3 feet long. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the width? What's the height? So I was more specific and I said, I have a small house. I need this to fit in a very specific area. I need to know specific dimensions. So his response was, oh, I sent it to a consignment shop in this town that's like 5 minutes from where I live, but wouldn't tell me the shop. So I messaged him again and I said, tell me what shop. I can go there and measure it. So then he sent me a longer message telling me the shop, saying that, you know, they still wanted people to wear masks. This is the time they open. I said, perfect. I'll be there and I'll be back in touch. So I got there, I found it, I brought my tape measure, I measured it. I already had and knew like how tall I wanted it, how long it could be before the pantry door would hit it, how deep, you know, it could be before it was a problem for egress and stuff. And it worked out. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm so glad it's here. The price was actually reduced at the store. So then it was, can I fit it in my car? And I had these boxes in the trunk for this fundraising thing I'm doing at church. And then I have the kids' car seats. Well, I was able to move all of that stuff to the front. I didn't even have to put the kids' seats down, and it fit. So I didn't even have to leave and like get the truck and come back. It was amazing. And that's why I just shopped around and I videoed everything. So the second part of this is while I was browsing that man's ads on Facebook Marketplace 2 days ago, I recognized some very distinctive pieces. There was this gorgeous piano that he had listed, but said it's sold, and then this custom-made bar. Well, they were at an estate sale that I went to in the fall where everything was very romantic and like French country. It was like totally spoke to me. It's where I got that Dom Perignon bottle in the box with the flutes. So I just cannot believe that it came full circle, like within 4, 5, 6 months, probably like 6 months, that I have 2 pieces from this estate now. And I didn't notice this piece at the sale, I figure, because I wasn't in the market for it. So I'm thinking about maybe even putting the box that the bottle came in down here and using that as storage as well, because it's a nice dark box and I think it'll be a nice contrast with how light everything else is. So isn't that funny? Yeah, so that's what I found today. I hope you enjoyed the shop along and I'll see you all in another video. Bye.